This is no ordinary pallet project. What we're going to do, the first step, is we got to pull all these boards off. They're actually easier than it looks. All you got to do is give a little bit of pressure with a crowbar and these nails pop right out. We want to pull out the big ones and the small boards. First step though, after that, is to get two long 1x3 6-foot long boards. We're going to put these in an L pattern, but we need to put some glue down. That is perfect. It actually holds boards together better than nails. Once we get that glued down, we're going to put this in an L shape just like that, and then we're going to use a few nails to hold it in place. I use 1.5-inch nails. They're perfect and they go in just right. Once we get that all glued together, we're going to mark 12 inches from the bottom. That's going to be our starting place for our first board. Now I'm going to start with a wider board right here. We're going to set this across, and then we're going to alternate to a smaller board. Again, going after that to a wider board, from wide, small, alternating all the way up. Now, we're going to lay all these across, but these are not cut to the size we want. Once we get these laid out, what we want to do is mark at the base the 24 inches. That is going to be our first cut, but we're going to lay a straight board across at an angle from the 24 inches up to the top, and then we're going to mark it all the way across. What this does is this gives us a perfect angle to make our Pallet Christmas tree. Once we get it marked out, we're going to put it over to 22.5 degrees, which happens to follow the marks all the way up. Once we cut these, we're going to cut that first one. Now remember, every cut we do, we need to make a duplicate because we're going to do two sides of the tree. Starting back at the bottom one again, we're going to use the brad nails and put it into place. Doesn't take much, just put them in there. Now we need to space it. I use my pencil as a spacer and it worked perfect. We don't want to just bunch them up right next to each other. Once we get the first row done, we need to flip it over. To make it easy, take that, it's really light because that pallet wood is not that heavy, and we're going to lay it across the table. Again, I'm going to use a clamp on this side just to hold it in place, and then we're going to line up the boards with the first set we put in. This goes much faster on the second row than the first row because the first row is what is like our template and holds it in place. Once we get these all brad nailed down, just like we did with the first ones, we are going to take a drill bit and randomly just put drill bits and holes all across the pallet tree. Once we get these random holes just put all inside there, we're going to grab us some white or colored lights. It's a preference. Make sure you get the ones that can plug in from the back though, just in case you run out of room. Take those lights and you're going to staple them down. Now be careful with the staples. You want to make sure that you don't go through the wires. Now remember those holes that we drilled? Stick the light right through there. And again, use the staples to hold them in place. We're going to go up and around and all around our Pallet Christmas tree. Now we're going to put it in place on that boring corner in the house, and look at this. We're going to light it up and watch just that magic come alive. Wasn't it great to be able to upcycle some pallets and make it into a Christmas tree and turn that boring corner into a work of art? I hope you enjoyed that last episode, but don't hit the stop button yet. First, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And stay tuned, we got another one coming right up.
Go grab an old screen window to create this beautiful holiday project. So I've gone ahead and cleaned it up. I've given the wood just a little bit of scrub, but I want to go ahead and paint this. So I'm going to use some of this bluish green milk paint, and I'm just going to give it a quick paint before I start to decorate it. I'm not going to cover it completely. I don't care if any of the old wood or the old color shows through. I just want to add a little bit of this blue and a little bit of this, some green as well if this is a little too blue. Okay, so my frame is all dry now, and you can see I've added just a little bit of green over the blue paint, and it's time to start creating our tree in the middle. I've gone ahead and collected a whole bunch of baubles here in beautiful kind of jewel tones, and I've got 3 different sizes. So you just want a variety of size for this project, and you are going to want the little hooks that come on them. So you want to make sure that they've got these little hooks. And you want to start at the bottom and work your way up. So I'm going to start hanging my baubles, and you just need to take this little wire and poke it right through the screen. I'm not going to do anything to the back of that wire yet because I'm going to fill this first, and then I'll work on the back just to make sure everything is where I'd like it. So we're working our way up instead of down, because as we go up, we'll cover up those wires that we've kind of left exposed. So I'm just going to keep working my way up this window until I have this filled in. So as you're filling this in, you really just need to keep playing with it and keep adding baubles all the way up. So we're trying to create a tree effect, a cone effect. And so you just want to keep that in mind as you're laying all of your ornaments up the screen. So once you have your baubles where you like them, you're going to turn it around, and on the back you're going to start pushing these all down. So if you need to, you can fold it right over the screen to keep them in place. So you can just tighten them up a bit by folding them down, and that will hold them in place. As you start to get to the top of the tree, you just want to start using smaller and smaller wires, or you want to pull them back tighter so that your baubles are close to and not hanging so much. So they're close to the screen, sorry, and not hanging so much. As we get to the top, you don't want to see these wires hanging, so we'll start to just pull those tighter and not let them hang loose as much. So this one's even a little bit too long, so I'm just going to finish up this tree, add the rest of my baubles, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Who would have guessed that an old screen window could look so beautiful decorated for Christmas? The next time you go to throw one away or see one on the side of the road, be sure to grab it and your Christmas baubles.
We're going to start with some of that old cardboard tubing you get from wrapping gifts. We can also use paper towel holders and some toilet roll holders. First thing you're going to do is take that long tube that you got from the wrapping paper, and you're going to cut it right in half, but not exactly in half. One piece needs to be a little bit bigger than the other. Here's our paper towel holder. This fits perfectly right here, number 3 position. Now you can grab a longer tube, offset it on the inside a little bit, mark your finger, and you're going to cut that tube also. We're going to just keep cutting tubes until we go all the way up to the top of our tree. Once we got all of those cut out, let's put the trunk on. That's what it's going to look like. Next, we're going to grab some fabric. I went ahead and grabbed some red. I love this one. It's really Christmassy. Some plaid, and also some gray and black. These are going to be perfect. What we need to do is take that first layer of cardboard, and we're going to offset it a little bit because we need to tuck it in. So don't put it on the edge. We're going to mark this because we need to cut it. What's going to happen is this fabric's going to roll over the tube. We need enough to make sure that we have it to glue down. Cut out your piece. Again, you're going to leave about 1 inch on the outside. Cut it across the top. Once you get that cut out, run you a bead of hot glue down the cardboard tube. Once you get that on there, instead of pulling the fabric over, what you can do is just roll the tube right into place. And there it is. That's much better, and it holds great. Now this one though, run the glue across the top of the fabric. But we don't have to roll it over towards the tube. You just take that tube, roll, 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 and there it is. Hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds, and it's going to adhere. On the outside, just put a bead of glue one place, 180 degrees from the other, and just start tucking it in. It's okay if it doesn't grab the tube, but it'll grab the other part of the fabric. And look at that. It's all nice and neat for you. Now, once we got at least 2 tubes that are covered in the fabric, run a bead of glue right across the seam because we're going to try to hide that. Put these 2 tubes together, go in order, place it right next to it, and again, just like any hot glue, hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. Make sure you got it lined up. Just keep on going, and I use some burlap also in there to intermingle. Make it look good and stand out. Last but not least, look at that trunk. I think burlap is perfect for it. We're going to glue that on there. The only issue we have is this is really not strong enough just having fabric glued to each other. So let's grab us a paint stick, put some glue on the backside, turn it over, and that is going to get pressed onto the fabric, and it's going to give it some stiffness. We can do this up and down. Watch this. So much better. Now we're going to flip it back over. It's time to decorate. I grabbed a little bow that I made, put some hot glue on it, and I'm going to put it onto my Christmas tree. I need to add a little pizzazz to it. Also, I can grab a little ornament and do the same. All of these I picked up at the hobby store, just put it on there, and guess what? When we come back, I'm going to show you what the final project looks like. And there it is. Isn't that just beautiful sitting on top of your mantle with everything all decorated? I hope this inspired you to build your own upcycle Christmas tree. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and we'll see you next time.